To create a headshot for use on either your Zoom account or for other projects, you need to have someone take a photo of you. Now, it's best to have somebody else take a photo because if you do a selfie, it can distort your face a bit, plus you'll be in a little bit too close. So make sure when they take the photo, you're against a plain background and the lighting is nice and even with no harsh shadows. If you take it outside, being in shade or on a cloudy day is best. Inside, make sure that you're in a bright space, but try to get it so that there's no shadows. Make sure there's room left above your head and make sure you see all the way down to the middle of your chest. And then keep space to the left and right of your body. Once you have that photo taken, get it emailed to your school account. Make sure that it's the largest size and then download that full version of it. In your class Google Drive folder, you should have a folder called Other. Within that folder, create a new folder called Headshot. That will be what you'll use for this particular project. Open up your Headshot folder and make sure this is where you save the photo that was taken of you, the one that you'd like to use for your headshot. Next, open up your Chrome browser and navigate to photopea.com. This is an online program that is similar to Adobe Photoshop. What you want to do first is open from computer. Navigate to the new folder you created for your headshot project and select the photo that was taken of you. Then click Open. Photopea will show a single layer. Just as in Photoshop, layers allow you to stack individual images, and if they have transparency, you'll see the image below it. In this case, you wish to create a transparent version of your image, one that only includes you but has a transparent background. So the first thing you'll do is duplicate the layer. You can select the Layer menu and choose Duplicate, or you can use the Control and J keys on your keyboard. Now that you have a duplicate layer, go ahead and click the eyeball next to the background layer to turn it off, and double-click the name for background copy. Change this to Headshot. On the left-hand side, click on the Object Selection tool, hold it down, and choose the magic wand. The magic wand will let you select the background to remove. For the settings, make the feathering set to 5 pixels, tolerance 25, have anti-alias and contiguous checked, and then click right next to your head and your shoulder in the background. You'll see that it selects an area. With that area selected, go to the Edit menu and choose Cut, or you can use the Control and X keys. Notice how you now see a checkerboard pattern. That indicates which areas are transparent. Repeat the process until you've removed as much of the background as you can adjacent to you. So I'll click here with the wand tool. A new selection is made. I'll do Control X and get rid of it. I'll go to the other side, Control X. Now that I have pretty much everything cleared that's close to me, I can go up to the Rectangular Select tool, choose Rectangular Select, and now I can just click and drag large areas, use Control X to eliminate them. I'll do the same on this side. What you want is a background that is as clear as possible. Once you're done, go to the Select menu and choose Deselect or use Control D. Next, go to the Layers menu, go down and add a new layer. This layer will become your new background. Go ahead and click on the foreground color. Make sure it's set to white. Click OK. Go over to the Gradient tool, click on it, and switch it to Paint Bucket tool. And then with the new layer selected, click in the background. Notice how it covers up everything that's there. So what you need to do is click on that layer and drag it below your headshot layer. Now you can see a nice white background. If there's still anything visible in the background that you want to remove, and you can't use the rectangle select tool, go down to the eraser and make sure you're on the eraser tool, and you can go ahead and maybe make it a larger brush as you need it, maybe make the hardness a little bit softer, and then you can go through and you can erase. Oh, but here's the mistake I made. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo. I have to make sure that I'm in my foreground layer, so make sure you choose the headshot layer, and then if you see anything that needs to be erased, you can go ahead and erase that from that background. Once you have your headshot to where it's a nice clean version of you, and if you turn off your new background layer, it shows just a checkerboard, you want to go ahead and save this version. So go to File, Save as PSD. That's the Photoshop version of the image. Navigate to your headshot project folder. Make sure the name is the same name of the image you used, but it now has an extension .psd. This lets applications know that it's a Photoshop compatible file. And then click Save. The advantage of saving a Photoshop version is it retains all of these layers. Next, you need to create a version for your basic headshot. So turn on that background layer, the all white layer, just so you can see what it looks like. Then go to the File menu and choose New. For this one, you'll do Custom. So first, type Headshot for the name, followed by Basic. Oops, and make sure Headshot is spelled correctly. And then set the size to 1920 horizontal and 1920 height. You can leave it with a white background and then click Create. Use the tab to click on your Photoshop version of your image. In this case, it doesn't really matter if the background's visible or not. I can turn it off because what we're going to select is just this layer. So we can go to the Select menu, choose All, or use Control A to select it all. We can go to the Edit menu and choose Copy, or just use Control C keys. Then click back on the tab for Headshot Basic, and now we can do Edit menu, Paste, or just do Control V. And there it is. Now, if it's too small or too big, you can make changes to it. You can also use the Move tool to go ahead and reposition it. If it's a little bit too small, like this one is, go to the Edit menu and choose Free Transform. And now you can select one of the corner handles like this, hold down the Shift key, and you can enlarge it so that we can see more of your face and maybe a little bit less of your torso. Once you're happy, make sure that you leave some space above the head. That's known as headroom. Make sure you've got it positioned so your head fills at minimum half the height. Closer to 2/3 of the height is even better. Once you're happy, press the Enter key. Now you're going to save this one first as a Photoshop version. So go to the File menu, choose Save as PSD. In your project folder, make sure the name says headshotbasic.psd and then click Save. Now, to have a version you can use on Zoom and other programs, remember this version lets you go back and make editing changes to the background or maybe the foreground layer. But now we want a version that combines everything. So go to the File menu, Export As, and choose JPG. This is a JPEG version. For the quality, slide it all the way up to 100%. Keep the size 1920 by 1920. Make sure the format is JPEG, and click Save. Make sure it's in your Headshot project folder. Make sure the name is headshotbasic.jpg, and then click Save. Now, when you look into your project folder, you'll have the JPEG version of your basic headshot. You'll have the Photoshop file version of the basic headshot. You'll have your original photo, and you'll also have the original photo in a Photoshop version where you have eliminated the background from your image.